Hey everybody, welcome to the DW Plays video. Although I don't know if play is the correct term for this particular game. You'll understand why this is a live commentary here shortly, but this is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Lone Wolf. It is a PlayStation 1 exclusive entry in the Rainbow Six franchise. It released in 2002, which for those of you who know some things about release histories, you probably immediately pick up on why that's a problem. This game released 2 years after the PlayStation 2 did, as a PlayStation 1 exclusive. Yeah, it's one of those games that was shoveled out onto the PS1 really quite a while after it probably should have been. And it shows in a lot of ways. It's very much a quick cash grab kind of game. Funnily enough, developed by Rebellion Developments, who are still around today, and have gotten considerably better at developing games than they were back then. That's not to say that they didn't make some decent games back then. I mean, they made a rather good version of AVP back in '99, but this is not one of their hits, and it's just kind of one of those games where you sit there wondering why. Just why did this get greenlit for one? And more importantly, why did it get made and sold? Because you would have thought, given what Rainbow Six was established on, that someone would have looked at this and gone, nah, this ain't it, Chief. And a lot of that comes down to the name. I shouldn't say it comes down to the name. It comes down to the concept around the name. Lone Wolf. That is anathema to Rainbow Six. You see, the Rainbow Six games were, at the time, known to be squad-based tactical shooters. You had your squad of AI-controlled buddies with you, and you ordered them around. You had go codes, you had a planning phase, all that kind of stuff. And it was really cool, and it generally worked pretty well. I mean, the AI was always a bit janky, don't get me wrong, but for its time, it was really cool, and it basically created the tactical shooter genre as we know it. By the time Lone Wolf came out, there were two main entries in the Rainbow Six series. You had the original game and then Rogue Spear. Rainbow Six 3 Raven Shield would release the following year in 2003, and it is still the best game in the Rainbow Six series to date. That game still holds up remarkably well, and it's great. You should play Rainbow Six 3 Raven Shield. I very highly recommend it. Rainbow Six Lone Wolf, on the other hand, is basically the complete opposite of what a Rainbow Six game should be. So let's just go ahead and hop into it, and you'll understand almost immediately. I mean, at first, it seems like you've got you've got the briefing. You've got different characters that you can get information from. You go over to the Intel tab, and there's nothing here. So that bodes well. First mission of the game, by the way. Sets the tone. And then you get into the kit selection, and you notice that you only have Ding Chavez, who is the leader of the Rainbow team, but it's only him in this game. He is the only character you get to play as. There are no squad mates. It's just Ding by himself. Hence Lone Wolf. There are a couple of reasons they did this. I mean, you can select different weapons here, as you can see, and they are very, very badly rendered. Funnily enough, these are supposed to be 10mm submachine guns, or 10mm MP5s. That is just a regular MP5 SD. They only ever made those in 9x19mm, which is 9mm Parabellum. You can make an argument for that one actually being a 10mm SMG, though, or a 10mm MP5. At the time, I don't believe they had the collapsible stocks, though. Don't worry, just gun nerd doing gun nerd things here. But, I mean, that magazine is at least the right shape for it. So, yeah. So, I don't know what they're doing here. There are suppressors for the MP5 and 10mm, of course, but, yeah. Here's another funny thing. Notice that the description of this says that they use the 9mm MP5 A4, not the 10mm that is listed here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. It's kind of the least of this game's problems, honestly. Here's another fun one. A shotgun capable of emptying its 9-round clip. Yeah, that's a tube, not a clip. Yeah, I don't know why they called it that. It's kind of painful. But you get an M4, or the 2 different submachine guns, or a SPAS-12 shotgun, or a PSG-1, which is a sniper rifle. We're just going to go with the suppressed submachine gun here for reasons that you'll understand in a moment. Then we go over to our secondary slot, and we only have 2 options. We have the supposedly Beretta Model 92FS. I can tell you right now, anybody who knows anything about guns is cringing right now. Even if you don't know much about guns, you can probably tell something's very wrong here. That is definitely not a Beretta 92. The Beretta 92 is one of the most recognizable guns in existence. It has been in so many movies. It has such a distinct profile. And, of course, it was the main sidearm of the U.S. military up until they replaced it with the ill-fated SIG P320. Yeah, that did not go well. That image is not a Beretta 92. That image, anybody will recognize that as a Glock. That is an obvious Glock. Now, I can't really tell if it's a Glock 19 or a Glock 17, but it is still a Glock. Not a Beretta 92. I guess I should count my lucky stars that at least they got the caliber right, because most of the Glocks are in 9mm. I mean, you can get it in just about anything, but it's probably at least a 9mm Glock. So at least they've got the caliber kind of okay here, but that's definitely not a Beretta 92. Then we move over to the supposedly H&K Mark 23, which is a really cool gun. It is gigantic, and it has a very distinct look about it. It's basically a just massively enlarged H&K USP. That image is also not a Mark 23. That is an M1911 with a suppressor on it. I guess I, again, should count my lucky stars that they picked a 45 at least. I don't know how you messed this up. Really, I don't. I don't understand how you messed this up this bad. Just a complete lack of care. Which is a problem in a game like Rainbow Six, because Rainbow Six was all about authenticity. Like, any Tom Clancy game at this time was all about authenticity, because that's what his books are like. If you've read any of Tom Clancy's books, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. They are absolutely packed with obnoxious levels of detail about things like equipment, things like tactics. They are incredibly authentic in that way. Obviously, things like the plots can get pretty ridiculous, but things like the level of detail he will pack into describing what kind of gear an operator is using, just second to none, really. And the games generally gave that vibe, but not this one. It's not like they didn't have their occasional issues, but for the most part, they were quite authentic. Lone Wolf doesn't even try. But we're going to go ahead and start the mission here. And again, you had to keep in mind, this is a PlayStation 1 exclusive game, so you're going to have to deal with some really bad graphics. And immediately you spawn right on top of an enemy. And he does not react to being shot. Immediately we have problems. So obviously there's an auto aim system. This was a common thing for the Rainbow Six series up until the kind of the mid part of the Xbox, PS2, and GameCube generation with Rainbow Six Lockdown. It's still in that game, but it wasn't the default. It was the default in the original Rainbow Six and Rogue Spear, because those games are incredibly difficult. You kind of had to rely on auto-aim to immediately target enemies before they could hit you, because you got to remember, back in those days, you died in 1 or 2 hits. Now, you could actually get heavier armor, and that would allow you to survive more hits to a degree, but a lot of times they would hit you multiple times, and it wouldn't matter. Lone Wolf does not care. You have your health. You might get lucky and survive a shot. You might not. Good luck. At any rate, controls are actually not the worst for a PS1 game. I mean, first-person shooter controls on PS1 were pretty awful, just across the board. This one at least has dual-stick aiming, so there is that. You can move with the left stick, aim with the right stick, so there is that. The controls themselves are rather imprecise. It is very difficult to get any kind of precision out of these. It just kind of goes where it wants to go. Again, you kind of have to rely on aim assist most of the time. Something you will be bothered by immediately if you're used to more modern games is that R1 is your shoot button. This was a common thing with PS1 and PS2 games. It started to peter out more in the PS3 generation. But in PS1 and PS2 games, for whatever reason, they decided that R1 was the best option for the shoot button. And I hate it. And that's because for every other console, what would normally be a trigger kind of button on, say, the GameCube or Xbox, I mean, it's still a shoulder button on the PlayStation controller. It's another reason I really hate the PlayStation controllers. I never could figure out a comfortable way to hold them. They always just feel really awkward up until you get to the PS4. But the equivalent of a, say, right trigger on the PS1, or actually just the DualShock up until the DualShock 4, is called R2. It's a shoulder button. But that was almost never actually the shoot button in any PS1, PS2, or even to some degree PS3 first-person shooters. Like I said, it started to peter out more in the PS3 generation. If you were lucky, the game would let you rebind it to R2. If you weren't, then you were just stuck with R1 or L1, depending on whether you were playing with whatever the Southpaw configuration was. So yeah, I'm stuck with R1 on this because there's no, you can't change the controls, and the controls are kind of ass. Something else to note. You notice as I'm moving here, the accuracy goes to absolute crap, and it takes quite a long time to reset. Note that I'm in semi-automatic mode. If I switch over to burst, the baseline accuracy gets worse, and if I switch it over to full, it gets even worse. Yeah. It's kind of a problem. So you kind of have to move awkwardly, slowly, but also not slowly, and it's very weird. It does reset slightly faster if you are crouched, but of course you move incredibly slowly when you're crouched, so maybe don't do that. Notice that the aim assist is not kicking in on this guy who's standing right here. Let's see what happens. So I just shot him and he didn't react to it. I did it again, and I mean, he moved, but he didn't react to it. And now he's dead, but he didn't react to get a shot because the AI is incredibly bad in this game. That's putting it lightly, actually. The AI is atrocious in this game. They are dumber than a sack of bricks. It is legitimately pathetic. Notice also that when I'm shooting, my bullets aren't going where I'm aiming. Like, that is a very... Okay. That was a very, very far to the right pull there. Okay, took care of that guy. I know it was very difficult to see him, but I have played this mission enough times to where I kind of know where all the enemies are. Which means that I can at least get past this section here and get into the next level. That's not saying much, though. Okay, this guy's going to turn around at some point, and he's probably going to see me. But we're going to try to take him out. Yeah, we got him. So I have to be obnoxiously careful with this because you die so easily in this game. And the enemy gets very accurate. And it's a problem. Okay, there's going to be a guy over here as well because, again, I know where things are. You know what? Just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to switch over to my supposedly Mark 23. That is not a Mark 23. That's not even really a 1911. That looks more like a Hush Puppy, which is a Smith & Wesson pistol that was developed for special operations use. And I'm dead. Welcome to Rainbow Six Lone Wolf. It's really, really bad. We're going to try this again. And, of course, you get back to this section here. The selection of the equipment is the same. I'm going to start in the same spot here. I'm going to try this one more time, and if I die on this level, I'm just going to be like, I don't care. Let's switch over to the pistol. Notice that he reacts when it's the pistol, but not when it's the MP5. That makes no sense. I have no idea why it's doing that. Oh, and the auto-aim's kicking in on this guy now. I don't know what's going on with this game. It doesn't make any sense. It's just this absolute jank fest. Who is shooting? I'm being shot at, and I don't know by who. By whom. English. Oh, man. We got a real winner here. I'm gonna do one more time. This is just, oh, man. Can you see why I'm not making a review of this? Or even an MTO? This game is terrible. I don't... The funny part is that it's actually eligible on my... in my scheme of reviews for a score. Because it came out in 2002, which puts it after my my cutoff for what's considered classic versus modern. And yeah, so it's eligible for a score. If I were to give it a score, what would I give it? Honestly, considering how atrocious the AI is, considering how the frame rate, by the way, you may have been noticing the frame rate in this game is atrocious. Most of the time, it's less than 20 FPS. It absolutely struggles to hit its target, by the way, target of 30 FPS. Absolutely struggles to hit that. I mean, like, the AI doesn't even react to getting shot depending on which weapon you're using, which is absurd because, look, an MP5 SD is quiet, don't get me wrong, but it's not that quiet. Like, the AI doesn't react to getting shot, but sometimes they do. Sometimes the AI spots you from across the map, sometimes they don't. It's just... It is... It's almost difficult to quantify just how bad this game is. But if I were to give it a score, honestly, it would be... I wouldn't give it a 0, because it is at least still functional software. It is functional software. If I were to, based on my experiences playing this thing, or if you can even call this playing it, if I were to rate it on my scale, it would probably be a 0.5 out of 5. Because this is almost completely unplayable. Like, it is something vaguely resembling playable, but it is not it's not really playable. But notice that it switched me over to the regular MP5. We're not going to do the regular MP5. It also switched me over to the totally a Beretta 92. We're not going to do that. We're going to switch back over to suppressed weapons because suppressed weapons are broken and jank and hilarious. So we're just going to go ahead and get things started here. We're playing through the same level, by the way, only now it's during day. That is not the MP game. Why? Why did you do this to me? Ugh. I mean, you saw me switch it, right? You saw me switch it over to an MP5 SD, right? Okay, so there's a dude here. Oh, there he is. Let me see if I can pick him off. He's clipping through the wall. That's fun. Yep, got him. There are actually windows. Ow. I'm surprised I survived that. It didn't matter. Screw it. I can't deal with this crap anymore. This game is awful. Please do not play it. Please do not pick up a copy of it. Don't forget it, because it is the prime example of what not to do when making a Rainbow Six game. They are not meant to be experiences where you play by yourself with no squad mates. They are meant to have squads accompanying you and supporting you. And you're supposed to have different squad members with different abilities and such. The later games in the series lost that, which is really frustrating. Rainbow Six Siege is just a straight-up multiplayer FPS only. And once you got into the later games like Rainbow Six Lockdown, Critical Hour, and, of course, the Vegas 1 and 2, you didn't really have specialized squad mates anymore. They didn't have their own sets of abilities. You had a very limited selection of gear available, although it was usually a few decent options, shall we say. Like some cool options, but not really the breadth of options you would have in the likes of, say, Raven Shield, which has quite a lot of options, actually. Now, if I can ever get the original Rainbow Six and Rogue Spear working properly and actually get them to a point where I can record them, I will make videos on those because I do really want to do that. I also have some other Rainbow Six spin-off kinds of things that would be kind of fun to cover, like Covert Ops Essentials, which is a spin-off of Rogue Spear that pretty much everybody's forgotten, kind of like with Lone Wolf, only Covert Ops Essentials doesn't suck. It's just like a miniature mission pack kind of thing for Rogue Spear, with a secondary disc that has a whole bunch of like tactical information and such on. It's actually really neat. It's a very nerdy kind of thing, but I think that's what makes it neat. So if I can ever get those working, then I will definitely make videos on those. I kind of want to do a redux of Raven Shield at some point, but I don't know if I really need to. I don't know. We'll see. But I do also have Critical Hour and Black Arrow, which are the console-exclusive Rainbow Six games that I want to cover at some point as well. So I will get videos on those done eventually. Those will probably actually be full reviews. Because unlike Lone Wolf, which is abject misery, those are actually playable games. So keep an eye out for those whenever I end up getting around to them. I have no idea when that's going to be. I have a hell of a lot of catching up I have to do on a lot of different things. But I wanted to go ahead and get something done on this because it's just kind of loomed in the background here. I did a how to fail video on this a long time ago because I was just doing some recording testing and that ended up happening. So I was like, oh, this is going to be an amusing clip. So I went ahead and uploaded it. And it's just kind of sat here ever since, and I've just never really gotten around to doing a video on it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to clear up some of the backlog right now. I might as well go ahead and make a video on Lone Wolf. And since it's the kind of game that it is, a live commentary is probably the better option here than doing my typical MTO review kind of thing. But yeah, if I were to give it a score, which I can't do right now because it is a game that I have not finished in its entirety, I will not actually score any games that I haven't finished, but it's leaning towards a 0.5 out of 5 based on my experiences. So please don't play this thing. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all in later videos.